I swear, man, I hate being corrected when it comes to wrestling history that don't matter. It's like you always get the damn nerds of wrestling who always say, hold on, wait a minute, hold on, no, wait a minute. It's like, look, bruh, you are not Ray J. Stop saying, wait a minute, right, bruh? You are not Ray J. Wait a minute, hey. I say, wait a minute, wait a minute. Y'all know the words? Say, wait a minute. Hey, yo, Ray J, tell me where you from. I'm from the land of women. Sunny days, chrome spinning, juice and gin, it's on tonight. Boy, that's my song, boy. Good old Ray J. But look, man, you guys are not Ray J, man. Stop saying, wait a minute, when you think I got something wrong about something so minor, something so minute. It's like, what does it matter? Who gives a damn? Who cares if Roman beat Brock Lesnar back in 2018 and not 2017? Like, what does that matter? Like, you gotta be a real virgin nerd to be triggered by something so irrelevant. I'm only worried about getting dates and getting laid, bro. I don't care about wrestling history. I just don't. You know, before I came on YouTube, I used to watch tons of wrestling channels, like years ago. And the number one thing that I always noticed was they hated being corrected when it came to wrestling history. Like, it was their biggest pet peeve. They hated being corrected in comment sections. They hated it. And I really do know how that feels. And it's really annoying. It's markish. It's version nerd stuff. It's like, what's the point, right? Who cares if a wrestling YouTuber gets something wrong when it comes to something that happened years ago? Like, what does it matter? It's in the past. Leave it in the past. Who gives a damn, right? Like, there was some nerds, right, that were telling me that Roddy Piper also kissed Goldust. It's like, bruh, that happened damn near 25 plus years ago. How about you come live in 2022, bruh? Why are you living in the past? Like, who gives a damn? First of all, it's kind of alarming that you remember when Roddy Piper kissed on another guy. Bruh, I'm straight. I don't want to remember Roddy Piper kissing on another guy. I don't want to remember it. Don't you get it? Like, the same people want to remind you that Kevin Owens kissed Seth Rollins. Okay, are you gay? Why do you want to remember that? Why do you want to remember that Kurt Angle kissed Brock Lesnar? Why do you want to remember that? I don't. Right? Hence why I never knew that happened until now. You know why? I'm not a hardcore wrestling fan. I'm a casual. I only remember the broad stuff. I don't give a damn about minor stuff that happened on throwaway shows. That's the definition of a nerd. When you remember small stuff that don't matter in small shows that were throwaway shows. That's how you know you were a dork version wrestling nerd. And here's why. There was a video where I said that, have you noticed that Damian Priest no longer does the Crossroads? Ever since Cody Rhodes came back to the WWF, I felt like that was a Vince call. I felt like Vince told Priest, don't do the move anymore, now that Cody Rhodes is here. So some dork nerds, right, they wanted to correct me by saying Priest did the move on Edge on Monday Night Raw. And I'm like, bruh, Vince is gone. Cody is gone. So it does not shock me that Triple H gave Priest the good call to do the move. Like, bruh, Cody is gone, so what's the harm of Priest doing a move until Cody Rhodes comes back? By the way, that Crossroads is no longer his finishing move. If you notice, when he did the Crossroads on Edge, he did not pin him. So, like I said, I was right. That move is no longer his finisher. Why didn't he pin Edge after he did the move? He didn't pin him. But at the end of the day, when Cody Rhodes comes back, I guarantee you this: he would not be doing Cody Rhodes' move. Priest would not add that to his moveset once Cody Rhodes comes back. You know why? Cody Rhodes does not like Priest doing that move. You know why? 2 years ago, Cody Rhodes cut a promo on Dynamite, and he buried Priest for doing that move. He said that they are botching the Crossroads on another channel. That was a shot at Damian Priest. Cody Rhodes said that on Dynamite. On a promo. He said that. So yes, I was right. Cody Rhodes does not want that man doing that move. Once Cody Rhodes comes back, Priest will no longer be doing that damn Crossroads. I guarantee you that. But that leads me to this. That match was over 30-something minutes. You gotta be the nerd, the biggest wrestling dork in the world, to remember that Priest did that move in a 30-plus minute match with commercial breaks. You remember that? You see, that's the difference between a hardcore mark and a casual like me. Casuals run wrestling. We don't give a damn about moves. I don't give a damn about moves. Like, I'm proud that I don't remember wrestling moves in long wrestling matches. I don't give a damn about moves. I care about stories, promos, gimmicks, characters, segments. I care about the 1, 2, 3 pinfall. That's the only thing I remember when it comes to wrestling matches. I remember finishing moves that leads to the 1, 2, 3 pinfall. I don't remember anything in the middle of the match. It's irrelevant because I'm not a mark for wrestling. I'm a casual wrestling fan. I'm not a hardcore fan that remembers move for move in a 30-minute match. It's like, nah, bruh. I get laid, man. I get females, bruh. I got a lot on my plate. I don't have the time to remember move for move matches. I don't have time to correct somebody on if Priest did a move just to prove me wrong, just to prove yourself right, to raise your goddamn bruised ego. It's like, you are pathetic, bruh. Y'all are pathetic. Like, I've never done that. I've never corrected somebody on pro wrestling history. It's like, I don't care about it. I never did. I never fell in love with wrestling because of the technical work rate. I don't care about pro wrestling tech matches. I just don't. I never did. It's like, you are the same nerds that remember every move that Kenny Omega does in a 40-minute match. Wow, bruh. I don't remember not one Kenny Omega match, but I remember tons of Stone Cold Steve Austin matches. I remember tons of matches from The Rock and Triple H, right? See, there's a difference between tech work rate and character-driven wrestling. John Cena, his matches, I will define them as character-driven wrestling matches. Kane, character-driven wrestling matches. Bray Wyatt. Character-driven wrestling matches. The Rock, The Miz, Stone Cold, Mick Foley. Character-driven wrestling matches. Matches that match the character of the guy. Stone Cold, all his matches, they matched his character. The Rock, his matches matched his character. John Cena, his matches matched his character. The 5-knuckle shuffle. That move was for the casuals to pop. That move was not for the hardcore fans. You see, hardcore fans, they are the minority. Casuals like me, we are the majority. John Cena, he was targeting the majority. The Rock was targeting the majority. That's why all the hardcore fan nerds didn't like the People's Elbow, but I loved the People's Elbow. It was the most over thing in the whole entire company. The 5-knuckle shuffle, the most over thing in the whole entire company. That move was for the majority of the casuals, because we don't like tech work rate. When it comes to John Cena, The Rock, those guys, I only remember the high spots that those guys are in. I do not remember the headlocks, the suplexes. I don't care about that stuff. At the end of the day, the only thing I care about are promos, stories, characters. That's what I remember. It's like I'm not one of those guys that I gotta remember every WrestleMania. Dog, WrestleMania is about to reach 40 years old. If you remember every number of every WrestleMania, of every main event, it's like you have no life. Bro, I have a life. I don't care about that stuff, man. It's like you act what years John Cena was main eventing multiple WrestleManias. 25, 26, 24. Like, bro, who cares, dog? Just enjoy the show. Dog, I don't remember what years Stone Cold was main eventing WrestleMania. I don't care. It's like you nerds are the type of people that would correct somebody on what year in particular Stone Cold Steve Austin did his first Stone Cold Stunner at WrestleMania. That's nerd version stuff. Like, I don't have time for that. Literally, I don't have time to remember small stuff like that. Dog, there was a nerd that tried to correct me on what years that the WWF switched to 3 hours. This nerd said they did an experiment back in 2002 about going 3 hours on Raw. I'm like, bro, who remembers that? You serious? Like, huh? Dog, I was playing football back in 2002. Like, huh? Like, bro, I was playing high school football. You think I remember something like that? I was playing football with Eazy-E's son. You think I remember something like that? Why would you correct me about something so irrelevant? On what years they switched to freaking 3 hours? Like that matters. How's that relevant? Like I said, wrestling content creators, we hate it when you correct us about stupid small stuff when it comes to fake wrestling. Dog, I don't care. I don't care about tech work rate. I don't care about the certain histories in professional wrestling. I care about the broad stuff, the most important stuff. Hence why I have a great memory when it comes to storylines, promos. That's the thing that I want to call you people out on. The fact that you never remember promos. You never remember word for word bullet point promos. You never remember segments. You never remember storylines. But you sure as hell remember wrestling moves in 40-minute matches. You sure as hell remember when Reigns finally beat Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam. You actually remember what year he did it. It's like, that's nerd stuff. I don't care which year he beat him. Look, he freaking beat him. I don't care what year it was, 2017, 2018, bro. Who cares, bro? Are you making money? Like, what? Are you making money correcting people on pointless wrestling history that don't matter? It's like, y'all gotta get a life, man. I'm a casual. I'm a diehard casual, man. Like, I only remember the important stuff, right? I only remember guys like Val Venus, Mark Henry. I remember when Kane got set on fire. I remember when The Rock threw Stone Cold Steve Austin off of a bridge. I remember when Taker tried to embalm Stone Cold Steve Austin. I remember that. I only remember important stuff, not small minor stuff that don't matter, that nobody cares about. All you are doing is exposing yourself as a damn nerd. It's like, some of y'all are worse than comic nerds. Like, bruh, I don't care about this stuff. Yes, I'm a fan of wrestling, but look, I ain't no hardcore fan of it. It's like, I'd never get it. I'd never understood guys like Jerry Lynn or Dean Malenko, right? Even when I was a kid, I was never a fan of tech wrestling, of hardcore grapple, ground style, like ground style wrestling. I was never a fan of it. I was never a fan of Dean Malenko, Jerry Lynn, guys like that. I was never a fan. It's like, I don't get it. It's like, how can you be entertained by tech work rate matches? It's like, a lot of you nerds, you live off that stuff. It's like, my idea of a pro wrestler is The Rock, Stone Cold, The Miz, Y2J, freaking Triple H, Road Dogg, Ric Flair, Macho Man, Rick Rude, The Warrior, Hogan. Those are my kind of wrestlers. Guys with characters, larger than life characters, that they were not known for tech work rate. I only care about rememberable characters, not tech work rate guys like Jerry Lynn and Dean Malenko. Dog, there was a reason why RVD was more over than Jerry Lynn. Dog. Listen, the only Jerry Lynn matches that I actually remember are the ones involving RVD, because he was very charismatic. He had a character. He was very entertaining. He was very flamboyant. Right? I felt like RVD always carried Lynn. He always carried Jerry Lynn. It's like, I was never a fan of those kind of wrestlers. Like, I was never a fan of guys like Kenny Omega, like dudes like that, dudes that are all about the work rate. Where it's like, that is the end all be all, doing flips and dives and kicks. That's why I'm shocked that Johnny G turned down AEW. It's like, he fits that company to a damn T. That's why I'm still shocked he chose to go back to the WWF. Because AEW, they are all about the work rate. Now, I definitely want to talk about Daniel Bryan versus Danny Garcia. It's like, I did not watch that match. I actually tuned in for the last 5 minutes of both of their matches, right? Because I have a short attention span when it comes to pro wrestling. I hate long matches, and I hate tech work rate matches that don't mean nothing. Like, I always fast forward to the last 5 minutes of every match that is a tech work rate match. That's like 40 minutes, 20 some minutes. You nerds be just going off on those kind of matches. I'm like, I don't get it. It's like I can't sit through a match that's like 25 minutes of two guys that are bland. Like, I can't do it. Look, the only time we should be seeing long matches is when both guys hate each other, or it is a championship match. Other than that, if it's not a blood feud, it should be a 10 to 15 minute match. That's why I loved Rick Rude. Rick Rude always had short matches, man. The only time he had long matches was when he was fighting for a damn championship. Rick Rude did not like long matches. Hogan did not like long matches. I did not fall in love with pro wrestling back in 1992 because of the long matches. I love the characters, the gimmicks, the stories. I love the physiques. I wanted to look like Hulk Hogan. That's what I was into. Like, I'm very proud that I don't remember moves in matches. I only remember the 1, 2, 3 pinfall at the end of the match. Because I don't care. I only care about the stories, the promos that led to the goddamn match. That's what I remember. That's why on all of my videos, I'm always reminding you of old promos from back in the day. 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 15 years ago. I never remind you of matches, right? Haven't you noticed that? Like, I rarely ever bring up which year this guy wrestled this guy, or which year this guy won the world title. Bro, like, I don't care. I only care about promos and stories. Hence why I just said that Cody Rhodes buried Priest on Dynamite 2 years ago in a promo. You know why? Because I only remember promos and stories. That's what casuals do. We don't tune in to watch matches. We tune in to watch larger than life characters that we don't see in real life. That's what we tune into. I don't care about moves in matches. I don't care that Priest did the goddamn crossroads. I don't care. That match was long. How can you remember something so minor like that? It's like, that's crazy to me. That just goes to show you I am a casual, because I did not remember that man did the goddamn crossroads. Because I don't care, bro. I swear, man, when it comes to wrestling fans, I hate the ones who always use the what about him card, or the what about her card, or the what aboutisms. It really kills your joy when it comes to talking wrestling, when you always gotta be prepared for a guy or some mark who wants to correct you about, oh, Roddy Piper kissed Goldust, so why do you got a problem with Dean Ambrose kissing on Effie? It's like, what does Roddy Piper have to do with Dean Ambrose? I need answers, Sway. What does that have to do with anything? Because at the end of the day, Roddy Piper was never a world champion for a reason, right? Right? I said, why is Dean Ambrose kissing on other men? And he's supposed to be a world champion for a major company, and he did it on the indies. So you want to do the whataboutisms by bringing me Roddy Piper, a guy that was never world champion, a guy that was facing a mid-carder in Goldust. Goldust, a guy that all he did was his job. Goldust was not gay in real life. All he was doing was playing a character that Vince McMahon gave him. He was trying to get it over. That's all I saw. And at the end of the day, I'm gonna say it again, Roddy Piper was never world champion in his whole entire career. In fact, Roddy Piper didn't want to be a world champion. Roddy Piper didn't love pro wrestling. He loved being a star, he loved being famous, but he was not passionate about professional wrestling. Dog, there's a reason why he retired at a young age. He didn't love it. He loved Hollywood. He loved being a star. He loved being a talker. He loved being a talk show. He loved being a character. Roddy Piper never looked at himself as a world champion. So don't make the comparison with him and Dean Ambrose. That's stupid. You are comparing a mid-carder, which he was. Roddy Piper was a mid-carder. Let's not fake the funk. He was a mid-card guy with a big name. So I really don't care what he does, right? I don't care what mid-carders do. If Roddy Piper wants to kiss Golden, all right, cool. As long as you are not a world champion. And he wasn't, so what's the problem here? Right? You people want to bring up Kevin Owens kissing on Seth Rollins, but last time I checked, Kevin Owens is not a world champion, so I don't give a damn. Do not be kissing on dudes when you are a world heavyweight champion, the face of a company. I never saw The Rock kissing on Triple H, huh? I never saw Stone Cold Steve Austin kissing on Taker. I never saw Stone Cold kissing a Rock. Right? So stop with the whataboutisms if you ain't got the facts to back it up. Roddy Piper was never a world champion. That's why I put it in the title. The AEW World Champion Dean Ambrose is kissing on dudes. I said world champion. If Dean Ambrose was not a world champion, hey, I wouldn't give a damn about what he does. But when you are a world champion, you gotta carry yourself as the flagship leader of the company. You gotta lead by example, bruh. So let me say this once again. If you are not a world champion, I don't care what man you kiss, okay? That's mid-card stuff. Do what you want. You are not a main eventer. You are not the flagship bearer of the company. So I don't care about what you do as a mid-card guy who don't have any championships. But when you do have a championship, when you are a world champion, I don't want you kissing on dudes. Do it when you are not a world champion. Then it's okay. I don't care. All you are doing is burying yourself, so I don't care. Whatever. Keep that crap in the goddamn mid-card with no titles on the damn line, bro. But don't do it as a world champion. That was my point. Right? Good Lord, man. Y'all don't think. I take wrestling very seriously when it comes to being a world champion. I grew up on Stone Cold, The Rock, Ric Flair, Hogan, Warrior, Goldberg. Guys who took themselves seriously as world champions, man. Don't get mad at me. Those guys raised me. As a fan, as a kid, that's all I knew. All I knew were serious world champions like Bret Hart, Shawn freaking Michaels, Diesel, Psycho Sid, Taker, Razor Ramon, Yokozuna. I grew up on serious champions who took themselves seriously, that didn't do indie style crap. I'm not no goddamn Gen Z kid. I am a millennial. Okay? I am not some Gen Z kid loser. So let that sink in, man. We are not of the same kind. I grew up in a different era that people took pro seriously. It was mainstream. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.